I've lost the books. I don't know where they are. Friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah from Ink and Hue Colouring. Today, we are taking a look at the Arrtx 126 set of coloured pencils. Very excited about today. So this is kind of like part 2 of a loose, Arrtx kind of series that I've been doing. In part 1, we did the watercolours and we did some basing in these two books. I've got Jewelry Box here by Hanna, Karlzon, and Wondrous Folk by Christine Karron. We did some watercolour basing. And today we're going to go over the top with our Arrtx pencils. So just for a quick little look-see, colouring page number 1 was this one here, and I've done, obviously, the watercolour through the centre there. Today we're going to be doing the pencil work over the butterflies and adding in all the embellishments. And then we've done some watercolour basing and going to be adding some more pencil work over the top today. So I'm looking forward to doing these 2 pages, especially because we get to look at 2 different styles. And portraits and nature colouring, of course, is my favourite 2 different types of things to colour. So why not do both in one video, right? Now, if there is one colouring page that you have more of an interest in, then feel free just to skip to that chapter if you like. So if you are interested in the watercolours, make sure you go and have a look at that video. I'll try to remember to link it in the description and also. Alrighty. So let's take a look at these bad boys. Now, these were released in 2022, so these are not new. A lot of people have them. I've seen them everywhere. These are new to me, so I'm excited to try them today and see how they work out. So Arrtx with their pencils, they've got a wax-based set, they've got an oil-based set. This is a wax-based set, 126 colours. They originally came out with a 72 set that was then expanded to what you see today. So wax-based pencils, I think the core is like 3.6 or something. So like your standard core size, similar to a Prismacolor. So a quick look at the back. So 3.8mm soft cores, richly saturated pigments, wide range of colors, break resistant and easy to blend. Having just done a quick little swatch, I agree with these statements. So we've got, just looking at it, we've got a lot of yellow, decent amount of blue. I feel like we have a decent amount of every color actually. The only thing, and I'll show in a minute, but the only thing I think we're probably missing is some like really dark colors, but that's fine. These retail for, this is in Australian dollars, these retail for the 126 set, $71.16. That's just the current price I could find at the minute. That is on Amazon. For the 72 set, $42.69, which I think is a really great price for pencils such as these. So let's crack her open. All right, so we have our pencils here. It comes in a kind of stand in these 2 little compartments here. It's got foam in it, and you just pull the pencil out. So if we pull this one out, have a look-see at this. So Arrtx color pencil, and then on the back we have a barcode and another code and the pencil number and the pencil name. It is a little bit tiny to read. So yeah, just bear that in mind. And the closed over end, which I like the look of better, but sometimes it's a bit harder to, like if you want to glue your pencils to some wooden dowel or glue them together, if you want to use the tiny little pencil stumps, it can be a little bit hard. You could just chop it off, I suppose. But now I did go ahead and swatch these off camera. I'll spare you the time watching all that. So this is our swatch. All right, so swatched them out like so. So the first, I've just swatched them in box order. Now you may notice these little ticks and crosses. As I was swatching them out, I just took a brief note on how I felt about some of the colors. So the ones with the crosses I had a bit of issues with, and the ones with the ticks I thought were really interesting, really nice colors. For example, this yellow orange here, the AT1050, I really like that color. It's very different. I don't think I've seen that before, so I've ticked it because I thought that was awesome. And the indigo blue is really nice as well. That is a match, in my opinion, for the Prismacolor indigo blue, but better. And I've done a few other ticks as well, so some very interesting colors. I love this pastel green. It's really bright and vibrant. It's kind of like a less grey version of the grey-green light in the Prismacolor as well. And we've got some brighter phthalo greens here, very similar to the polychromos in colour. The blues are quite similar to Prismacolor too. Most of the colours are similar to Prismacolor. I would say this reminds me more of Prismas than they do polychromos in colour. They're going to have, their characteristics are going to be more like Prismacolor because they are wax-based, but I'm purely just talking about colour at the minute. One thing that I found very interesting is their metallic gold is really gold. It's a beautiful colour. I put it next to the polychromos and the Prismacolor gold, and it's really nice. Not that I use the metallics much. A couple of the downsides, did not like the black at all. To me, the black looks like a dark umber. It's not black. It's very brown, and it was really scratchy. Unfortunately, which is a real shame. Same with their version of goldenrod and pastel blue, and most of the ones I've crossed. I just had a really difficult time actually getting it to swatch correctly. There was a few little gritty bits in the formulation. It more had to do with the formulation and how it felt as I was applying it, which is unfortunate. And then, and the ones that I haven't ticked or crossed are really, they're like, yep, they behaved as normal. They're great. That's fine. So I really didn't like these fluoros. I really don't know why they keep them in there. The fluoro yellow's fine, but the orange and the opera pink, the pigment is just not, unfortunately, is not great, but I don't use them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Overall, I think these are really great, and I think if you're after a budget-friendly option, then these are fantastic. I would almost, if you are looking to buy your first set of pencils and a big colour range is important to you, I would almost recommend, and I say almost, I would almost recommend purchasing the Arrtx over the Prismacolor. Reason being, I believe these have less of a wax bloom than the Prismacolor do. So wax bloom is kind of just like a waxy build-up that happens over time as you blend and burnish with wax-based pencils. Prismacolor have a lot of that. You can just wipe it off with a tissue and it's fine, but if it's one less thing you need to do, then why not? They also have a very similar, like I was saying, very similar color range and feel just by swatching them. And again, we are going to test them out in coloring books because that's going to be the real test, I suppose. I also found that these didn't have any breakage. I don't think I had trouble with any of the cores. There was no shattered cores at all when I was sharpening them. And I also think that a big 126 set of pencils at $71 Australian, so it's going to be like 50 US, I actually think that that is a lot more accessible to people, especially if you're just starting out. Maybe purchasing something like a Prismacolor or a Polychromos is something that you're interested in doing down the track if you are looking at a full set. But if you're just starting out, maybe you don't want to spend $300 on a set, which is completely fair. The reason why I probably don't think why I say almost, is I think in terms of ones that are a bit iffy, there's probably more off ones in the Arrtx than there is the Prismacolor. Again, I'll see how that goes on the actual paper. And they don't seem to have as many darker colors. Really, the only super pigmented dark value ones I can see. So we've got the black, there's these two here, these two, that one there. We could do with like we've got one dark green, but you could potentially do with another couple. Yeah, and potentially we're just a little bit too crazy on the yellows. There are many people that absolutely love these Arrtx pencils, and I can absolutely see why. I'm very happy to have these in my collection. So thank you, Arrtx, for sending these through to me to try. Let's get into our first colouring page, shall we? All right, so the first page that we're going to do is I'm going to be working on the butterflies in this page here, which we've done the background for. I'm going to do a pink butterfly here. So I'm going to start with the seashell pink, which is AT3012. They're really tiny, so I will have them up on the screen. The numbers are really small, unfortunately. Okay, so the seashell pink is like a light to mid pink, and with this particular butterfly, I'm just going to start with in the middle and work my way outwards. I'm going to color over the patterns. I still want them to be there, but I want them to be integrated into the color gradient. I don't want them to guide the color gradient, if that makes sense. It's just an approach I like to use sometimes. So I'm going to start here. I'm just probably going to like do a mix of blending and burnishing and layering. I might layer with these. Oh no, I could probably blend and burnish. That'll be all right. This is probably going to turn into a tutorial as much as it is a product review, let's be honest. So I'm going to leave some of the borders for the glitter gel pen, or even the watercolor. I've got some metallic watercolor paint, but I feel like I want to make this really glittery. Bring that out a little bit. Oh, was this one of the ones that was I having trouble with? Yeah, so interestingly, this, I've just twigged that this was one of the colors that I didn't like the feel of, and yeah, I don't know if you can hear how this is scratching, but it's really scratchy, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because there's so many of these colors that are in the set that just work so beautifully. It's a shame that, yeah, it's just a shame that some of them don't really meet the standard of the others. You're going to get that in sets. I haven't really noticed that in the polychromos or the Derwents, but in the Prismacolors you do have a few random ones. So yeah, it's unfortunate. But again, if you are after your, like just after a first set of pencils and you don't want to spend like over $200, and bro, just try these. Yeah, it's not very opaque, but I'll keep going. Again, I just picked the worst color. Oh dear. Funny, I'm a little bit nervous about the portrait because a lot of the portrait colors that I use I didn't like either, which is a shame, so I'm just going to have to work around it. We'll make it work. No one's going to be injured. Everyone will be fine. I could probably go a darker color on that, but I won't just for the minute. All right, I'm going to grab the Peach Puff, which is AT3011. Again, I'll put that on the screen because that is not readable. Oh yeah, there we go. It's teeny tiny. I'm going for very pastel-y butterflies, so they might appear a little bit light, but, and this is what I mean by, if you're with me with the first video when I was saying I didn't want to do the pencil review just on this page, you'll see why, because this page is more about that statement watercolor kind of galaxy, and the other page that we'll do is going to be more about the pencil work. So yeah, you'll see why I didn't want to do a pencil review that was literally just a few butterflies. Did I? Oh yeah, the Peach Puff was one that I didn't give a tick or a cross. It just is what it is. But let me know your thoughts. If you have these already, let me know what you think. Are there some colors in your sets that don't work for you? Are there some that are awesome? Are they all good for you? Because everyone's different, yeah? Which I should have said at the start. Everybody's different. Everyone's going to have their own way of interpreting how colors work. and how pencils feel. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen those reels where it's like someone unfolds a spoon in a napkin and they're like, judge the spoon. Oh, I'm a massive cutlery judger, so yeah. I feel like I'm like that with my pencils. They've got to be a very particular way. But like I was saying, there's many in this set which are awesome. So, okay, now I'm going to go and try their white. That's AT0001. I'm very thingy about my whites. I don't know about this white. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't like it. I'm sorry, I really don't. It's not doing anything. It honestly, this feels like a colorless blender. This feels like a really hard acrylic. Is it even? Okay, I'm very sorry, but this white is horrible. I'm sorry. I wish it was good because there are so many things about these pencils that are good. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm gonna put that white back. I might grab my other white in a minute when I'm done. I feel like I need to darken up just the center a little bit. Right, I'm gonna try the pink. So that's AT4003. I'm gonna try just like a little bit of this, just to darken up a little bit in the centers. Yeah, I was hoping that white would be super opaque just so we could cover over some things, but still have it there. Yeah, it's a shame. It really is. A bit of that over the top. I'm going to go back in with the seashell pink. That's the 3012. The other one I don't like. Why did I just picked all the colours that I don't like? I mean, I like the colour, but the actual pencil is weird. That pink was good. Pink was great. Yeah, building up my colours now, we're getting there. I'm getting a bit of a vibe that I'm just going to have to work harder to get the colours to work, but once they work, they'll be fine. But I feel, so you're going to have, like I was saying before, I feel like with every pencil set, you're going to have outliers. And like I was saying, if you're starting out and you want to try a set, I would recommend these to have a go with, unless you are wanting to purchase, say, a more expensive set but less colours. It depends on what's important for you too. Having a higher colour range might be more important because you're not quite sure how to mix your colours yet. It depends on where you are in your art journey, or you might be very proficient at mixing colours, and so like a 12 to a 36 set of, say, like a polychromos, which are oil-based, or like a luminance or a Derwent Lightfast or something. It depends. With your bigger sets as well, or like with your bigger labels as well, like your Derwents and your Faber-Castells, I'd recommend just buying a couple of pencils first and seeing how you go. All right. For the middle of the butterflies, I think they're all going to be like, again, not my full metallic gold color that I always reach for. but just like a representation of it. So I'm going to start off with the cadmium orange light, which is AT1048. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, those will probably be sparkly, but I'll just do a bit of that. I'm still weighing up like what sparkle do I use? Do I use gel pen? Do I use metallic? Do I use like actual glitter? So that's that one. Let's go in with, they have a goldenrod here. So their goldenrod is the same as the Prisma goldenrod, which is 1069. So another reason why I think if you're just starting out, grab these over the Prismacolor is because, yeah, similarities in the color names and bits and pieces as well. You can buy Prismacolor open stock, so you could always just grab a few and try them as well. I'm going to need a darker color, I reckon. Okay, sienna brown, so 6080. I'm just going to go with my darkest. Okay, I need to bring more colour through, so I'll go with that goldenrod again, which is the 1069. Just read it. Okay, cadmium orange light, which is the 1048. Just going to go over it again. Yeah, I reckon just with my opinion, they're a good layering pencil to blend and burnish them. You might end up having to press too hard than you like, and you might squash the paper too early. All right, so I want to do like we'll do one more while I'll do one more real time, and then I'll just repeat the same colors that I've already got over the other butterflies. So you can follow along if you want. Okay, so this is Helio Turquoise Light, and that is 2014. And I might go in this time. I'm just doing like a medium pressure. I'm not like burnishing and then blending in. I'm going to go medium. It's probably going to work a bit better. Bring it out a bit further, shall we? Because I reckon, yeah, this will be my mid color, so I'll probably blend it with the white because there is a pastel blue in there, but it's kind of the wrong hue for what I want to go for. So I'll just, so that's a hint too. If you don't have like a pastel color in your set, just mix your mid-tone with your white and you can kind of create it. See how I'm starting to colour over the black lines a little bit in the pattern work, but it's still there. It's just not as prominent. I still want them to be there because that, I feel, is part of Hanna's charm, and I don't really like to like go over and like white out what people have drawn. But like I want to use it. I just want to change it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go for, there's a helio turquoise in there, which is darker. And that is 2033. So I'm just going to go in the corners. Just build it up a little bit. This one feels good. But yeah, if they just tweaked a couple of the formulations, that'd be awesome. Like it's already, like the set's already good, but yeah, if they could really just make a budget set good to great. Or even like great to like fully sick awesome. The most illustrious, you know? Okay, so they're pretty much those like 9 colors that I showed you. Pretty much going to repeat the same thing now across all butterflies. So it'll be the same combinations. I'm just going to split it out. Then I'll just do some quick embellishments. Okay, there is our first coloring page done. I've gone completely ham with all the glitter. Probably not going to be able to see it, but oh my goodness, we've got some serious galaxy vibes going on. I love it. All thanks to the Arrtx Watercolor and the Arrtx pencils and a whole heap of glitter and embellishments. Now that glitter, the blobs, they will dry pretty flat once the glue dries. So they will look stunning. A little bit of gold there. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is fun. This is just, occasionally guys, you've just got to let your inner 4-year-old really come out and just let her be what she wants to be, okay? If it means that you're going to have a unicorn butterfly sparkle page, you're going to have a unicorn butterfly sparkle page, yeah? All right, so now let's move on to my more sophisticated coloring in book number 2. Okay, now for our second page, and just as a quick recap, we are in Wildflower Folk by Christine Karron, and we are coloring Lilies and Pearls. So I'm going to start with the skin. So just looking at all these colors together, we've got some good variety of light and dark. So these are more warmer, then we've got more cooler here. So I tend to try and have a balance of warm and cool when I do skin tones. I don't necessarily like to lean one way always. It's just my preference. So I'll just pick some out. We're going to play with them and I'll adjust as we go. That's kind of how I color skin tones at the minute. I don't necessarily plan a combination out. I just pick some colors that I think would be fun to play with and we just dive in. So, all right, so let's see how these go. So I'm going to use that light peach first, which is the 3004. I'm just going to start mapping out some highlighted areas, which with Christine Karron stuff is pretty much just where there's no shading. Build the bridge of the nose. I'm just going over lightly. You can go over the whole face if you like with your lightest color, but I don't always. Like you can do an initial wash with this if you like, but yeah, I don't always do it. We'll see how we go. I've just got to, yeah, I don't know how these are going to go with portraits with multiple layers, so we'll see. Hence why I'm testing them out, because this is what I majority use pencils for, is this kind of stuff lately. So now you can probably hardly see this color. Even I can hardly see it on with my eyeballs. It is hard to see at the best of times on camera. And we'll do a little bit down here. I'm looking forward to this one because there's lots of shiny pearl things we could do. Probably won't go as ham on the glitter as I did on the last colouring page, but there's always room for it. We'll just see. I'll see how sophisticated and polished I'm feeling. Got a bit of that. Okay, I think I want to go in with, just trying to think what colour I want to go in with next. I might give this dark salmon a go. 6078. And we're a little bit crumbly. Again, I'm just not used to these at all. They feel very different. But the first couple of layers with skin can feel a bit, how you going, and then it gets easier. Yeah, wow. Okay. This is different. I'm not saying I don't like how they work here. It's just different. I need to get to know them a little bit with this style of colouring. I'm even just going to go over some areas that don't have a lot of shading, because this is still, I consider this a light colour. It's just, what is this? The dark salmon. Did I like the dark salmon? Yeah, I think I did. Or it was a pencil that I was like, yeah, you know what? It's not getting a tick or a cross, it's fine. So yeah. They're not as like soft as your Prismacolors when it like for portraits. So, but I mean, I feel like with pencil reviews or any product review, really, we really have to be, or I really want to be objective with it. I can't just sit there and be like, everything about these is awesome unless I completely 100% agree with it. So if there's something that I find a bit difficult, I'm going to say it as much as I want to say everything positive. Yeah, nothing is perfect. So I think, yeah, trying to be a little bit objective about things is always helpful. So just because I've got a few negatives about this product doesn't mean I think that you shouldn't get it or shouldn't use them, and it doesn't mean that I won't use them either. I can certainly, if you want more tutorials with these, let me know. I can certainly make them, because I understand that not everyone, even though I do mix my pencil brands, I understand that like not everyone has access to the same things. So if you would like more tutorials with these alone, then I'm all there for it. Like, say the word, I'll do it. So yeah, please don't get me wrong, like when I'm just making a few little observations. Oops. But yeah, like I was saying, we have to be objective about this stuff. Especially this day and age where it's just like we are just flooded with PR. And I'm sure too, if they're, you know, I'm sure that, for example, with that Arrtx white that I really don't like, I'm sure that they would want to know that, you know. I'm hoping that they would be like, okay, let's make the white better. So far, this dark salmon's working all right. It's just a couple of spots, like I was saying before. It's just a little bit, how you going? But I'm really hoping these are awesome, because I just kind of like, okay, if these are going to be great for portraits, or like a great option for portraits, and how many doors is that going to open for people? Because not everyone is going to go out and get a set of like Derwent Light Fast or things like that. Yeah, they seem to be a little bit better, because I had the pencil really sharp, which is what I like to do for portraits, because you can just really get into the tooth of the paper. But they seem to be a little bit performing a bit better. See how, if you can see that my hand's in focus, but like it's not as, see how it's not completely pointy. I am going to bring in the peach now, that 310. And I think I want to like maybe use this as like a bit of like backlighting or something. Not something to like completely go over what I've already done, but just start bringing out the color elsewhere, just for a bit of like variance in where the light parts are. I'm just playing around. I don't really have a theory for this. I'm just thinking, what if we just brought a little bit of this out? And just played with it. Because I'm thinking about, of course, too, like fantasy skin tones. Where there's lots of different colours going on. So if we just did like a little bit of that in places. Yeah, because the peach is one that I don't like really at all, which is unfortunate. So I just want to, let's just play with it in a few little highlight areas. When I say backlighting, I mean the highlight that's where the shadow is. See how there's a shadow there, then there's this line of highlight. Because sometimes in a shadow you have a highlight. So if this is confuses you, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But see, you've got shadows here and we've got shadow there. And we've got this thin line of, it's not technically called a backlight, but it's just what I think. That's just what the word I think of when I look at it. So, I mean, if you have been colouring portraits or like you're like a pro colorist or an artist, you'll know exactly what I mean. And you'll be like, yep, we know what you mean. Cool. I'm going to go in with this camel colour, 6017. This just feels like a fun one next. I'll start going with my darker colours after, but I just want to see what this kind of does. And I can't really see that at all. This is probably more of a mid to a light tone that I'm just going to bring out, see what it does. Yeah, it's got this nice eggshelly beige kind of feel. I don't know if you can see that at all. I really don't. Just torn between like, do I feel we need something a little bit more opaque in terms of color lay down when it comes to portraits? I mean, these are pretty, they are opaque, but I don't know if they're turtly enough for the Turtle Club, if you know what I mean, at this stage. Be interesting to see how these all go over the watercolor parts that I'm done. Looking forward to that. I'm certainly getting color out, and it's probably, yeah, it just is on the softer, it's on the more opaque side. Sorry, the more translucent side. I always get confused. In my head, translucent means opaque. I don't know why. I don't know why. Whoa, this is really not coming out much, is it? Like it is, but it isn't. It's there, and I just don't want to press too hard too quickly. So I'm going to squish all that tooth. Could just be the paper as well. It might not like this paper. And I don't want to press too hard because I want lots of light layers so that things are smooth. Maybe this is more like one of the lightest colours that we go with, hey? Maybe I should save it. Or maybe I'll just keep going. Maybe I'm just getting impatient. Interestingly, I'm just looking at my chart. This is one of the colours that I was like, oh, this is fun. I ticked it because I thought it was really interesting. I just realised I haven't done the eye crease yet. I should just go over the pearls because I'm probably gonna, well, these little marks here that I'll probably do in glitter, to be honest. Because why not? I need to go to some craft shops, I feel, and do a deep dive into some glitter options. I'm liking how like the beige tone this has, as much as it's really hard to see. I'm liking what it's doing. I'm just going to have to do a lot of layers of it. Let me know in the comments, have you done portraits with these pencils? And if so, what did you think? I'd be interested to know. Okay, I think I want to start with some darker colors now. Especially, let's go with this, can't remember if I used this before. I don't think I have, the Mars Brown. I'm going to need to, I reckon, yeah, I'm going to need to bring this out further than I think I do, which is normal for me with portraits sometimes. I don't know if you can see, it doesn't usually happen, but see, I'm getting squiggles, like really hard squiggles. I'm hoping that will not be noticeable. After we've done many layers, yeah, I'm hoping that that'll just disappear, that'll just fade away. That'd be nice. Like I was saying, I want these to work because I would love it if more people had, you know, the means, and then, yeah, just, it'd just mean that more people could try portraits. Like, you don't have to have fancy pants pencils if you don't want to, or if you can't afford them. Whoops. So she's got a blood nose now. Sorry. Bit on the forehead. I think I might start going darker, because I feel if I leave the dark colours too late, then I might be a bit scratchy and I won't have enough tooth to like go over them again to like blend it all out. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going straight for the jugular. I'm going in with an aubergine purple. 4333. All right, darkest spots. So we're talking eye sockets, creases, these bits. I'll start just to bring some different colours through. I'm not really going for realism here. I'm just going for, because there's purple in the background, and I'm just starting to play around with different colors these days other than the traditional, because with your fantasy skin tones and stuff, it kind of is more about value than it is necessarily about color, from what I'm kind of picking up around the joint. And you may have heard me talk about value, but that pretty much just means that if you were to put this in grayscale, or like just completely take the colors out, that, where my pencil is, has a darker value than that pink there. So it's not about the color, it's about how dark or light it is. And I'm starting to pick that up, and I kind of felt that once I started to understand that, then I wasn't really as afraid to go in and try fantasy skin tones, because I don't know, I just don't feel like there's like a formulation for it other than value. And that goes with any type of coloring. If you're wanting to experiment with stuff, like if you don't care about value and you just want to put pen to paper, then like, girlfriend, go for your life. I just like to wig out on this stuff because, yeah, I'm a weirdo. And I can't help myself. A bit of that. Let's do like a bit of this. I know she may look a bit bruised in some areas, but let's trust the process, shall we? I like how this purple's laying down. I think this is one of the colours that I was like, I like this. I'm going to have to start working on some lighter sections too, because I've got a lot of white space going on. Okay, super interesting, super interesting. I like it. I like how this is going so far. Overall. Some areas look a bit messy, but I'm hoping I can fix that up. I was going to go over these, whatever. They'll just be glitter anyway. If you're wondering how I come to my decision of what colours I pick, like I was saying before, I really just have a look and see what's in the pack. I look at the swatch chart and I go, I just pick out colours that kind of look roughly like the flesh colour that I want to go with. I also use Pinterest for inspiration as well. And then you cross-reference a photo with your color palette too. So it's just a matter of, it takes a while. It really takes it can take a few goes to get it, but once you get into that rhythm, you can kind of look at something and go, that's what that color is on my swatch chart, and you can just pull it out and play around with it. Now Perylene Violet, AT3300. And I know you might be thinking, hey bro, it's not that simple, but it really is that simple for me. Or it's just as simple as I like to keep it, because I don't want anything too complicated. For me personally, if I keep, this is what I've found, this is just how my brain works, that if I have particular combinations and formulas for skin that are my go-tos, if I have colors, like if I write down color combinations, I personally am never going to branch outside of that. So I know what my weaknesses are, and this pencil is not great. It's not blending very well. That's fine. I'll work with it. I know what my personal weaknesses are. I know what I will default to. And so I do my best to not do that. That's just me though. I know a lot of people are like, yep, no, I keep skin combos everywhere, and that is awesome. Whatever works for you. Whatever keeps you coloring. Whatever keeps you in that creative space. But for me, I can't. I literally have to fly by the seat of my pants. Otherwise, I'd like try and pre-plan everything, and I just fall in a heap. I like how the colours are looking. I'm liking this. I'm just gonna, gee whiz, I just want to make sure it blends properly. You've really just got to play with it. Like with portraits, you really just have to play with it. Okay, this is looking fun. I'm liking the way this is, yeah, this is looking, this is fun, this is fun. I know I might be sound like I'm like, this is fine, oh my gosh. But no, it's actually fine. I am going to go back in with the peach actually. 3010. See if it does anything. You'll pick up pretty quick. That's what I find anyway. With if something doesn't work, you'll pick it up pretty quick, and you'll be like, "Hey, nope," and then you'll just be like, "Next pencil." And because we do so many layers with portraits, personally, I don't feel it's going to make too much of a difference if you make a mistake with the wrong color. Just go over it because we're doing that many layers. So just you may as well just play with it. It's going to reinforce that. I had it. That kind of color there. Don't go too far into it though. All right, let's go to beige, which is 3003. I just feel like because it's looking very pink and everything, I want to start bringing out some like neutral colors and just lighter values and just blend that together. And if it looks too warm, then I can bring in that cooler color. I'm just kind of going around the edges of what I've just done. See how I'm just like following the darker shape roughly. I'm just going to build up on that. I'm just like working in towards the highlight. I feel like I need to just go give this ear a really good pass. If you're looking at this and the purple's kind of freaking you out, I do have plenty of other videos on some more neutral skin tones that don't have any like color, like wacky colors in them. They're more traditional. Feel free to check those out if you want to. Because I understand like sometimes if you're looking at a concept for the first time and it might just feel like really out of depth and you might just be like, this is just not something I can do right now, then that is fine. Just go and find those. See if they help. Again, the good thing about Christine Karron's books is the shading's already there for you. You just got to follow it. This would be a lot harder for me if I was... It'd be doable, but it would be harder for me if I was in a Hanna Karlzon book. Doable, but yeah, I have to think a lot more. Whereas this, I can just kind of switch off and follow. It's already there. And while I'm colouring this, I'm kind of looking at the hair and thinking about what I could do. And there's some delicious browns that are in that set that I could bring out. Some browns. I might even bring out a little bit of purple as well, a little bit of pink for the highlights, because why not? Really enjoy using pink and brown together, and purple and brown for hair tones. I'm starting to press a little bit harder now because I do have some good layers built up and I feel like the paper can take it. Okay, she's looking a little bit yellow. So I'm going to go in with the Camel, which is AT6017. Yes, it is. Brush it off. But again, like, I chose that yellow because when you add other colors on top of it, it creates something new. So it's not always about the isolated color. Like I was saying, like, just get in and play with it and just see. You're not going to know unless you don't get in and just have a play and see what you can come up with. See what works. Try layering things. Yes, you can test it out on scrap bits of paper and stuff, and that's all fine, but like, don't get me wrong, I do that too. I have a whole ream of paper that I do that with, but my best experiments are the ones that I actually do in the colouring books. Yeah, see, it's just like making it less yellow. Sometimes if I had yellow flowers, or if I had like more yellow here, I would go, yes, I want to make that yellow more prominent, but because I will make that beige more prominent, but because we've got a lot of purple in the background, I just want to blend it a bit. Let's try and get a bit of... There's another colour I'm thinking of as well. I think I'm going to bring in that dark salmon too after this. I don't want to give her a mustache. Yeah, because there's a couple of shadows that I do just want to bring out a little bit more. Salmon. Dark salmon, I should say. 6078. All right, so as I'm doing, I'll probably say like more final layers. These are a little bit too, they're a little bit scratchy, a little bit. They're not too bad though. I wouldn't call them buttery smooth, but they're workable, which is great. That's what I want. That's what we want. Like, yeah, gee whiz, I want these to work so everyone can have a crack. I mean, I'm sure you all already do because most of you probably already own these, but I'm always late to the party with everything. I just don't, it doesn't bother me. I don't have to be the first to have things unless it's something that I really like. I have something in the mail that's going to arrive in the next couple of days that I'm excited to show you because I've been obsessed with them. But other than that, yeah, I feel like I don't have to have things like, you know, as soon as they're out. Oh, I've got to be more delicate. Gee whiz, I'm getting this massive line that I just did like that there. That wasn't, oh man. When I get to this stage in my portraits, I just start getting real Einstein-y and I start getting a bit rough. I go a bit mad scientist with all the colours and I find that I kind of can't do that with these. Like I can, but I've just got to be careful. Kind of really can't see that peach colour anymore, can we? It was there. Maybe I can bring in an orange. Maybe it's just, compared to the rest of the colours, it's just not, they're not as opaque, that peach. Maybe I could bring in an orange just for, I do just want to tweak that up though. Yeah, just fix her up there. There you go. I've got a line here. I don't think I didn't mean to do that line. I don't know why that's there. I don't know what I did. I've done something. Smooth it out a bit. She looks like she has gills. I honestly don't know. That could have been there the whole time. I don't. Like I know like a bit of backlighting. You know what I mean? Like the highlights in the shadows. But it's like, I don't know how it got to that shape. I'm sure editing me will be looking at it and being like, I saw it. I saw it. Her face is nearly done, guys. She's looking good. I'm trying to resist the urge to, I'm probably just going to have to go in with that white, I reckon, and just hopefully try and smooth some areas out because it's a little bit too patchy for me. But still fine. I feel like I just want to go back in with this purple a little bit. Forgive me, the aubergine for 333. I could regret this, but I just feel like it needs a bit of something there and up here just a little bit. And around the eyeballs. Probably going to do the lips in a similar colour, to be honest. I actually really like how these dots look unglitterified. Maybe I'll leave them, we'll see. I'll probably end up putting glitter on them. I mean, like, let's be honest. I'm just going to go around with that, like, eye socket bit. Oh, how fun. Let's use pink and purple more often, hey? Pink and, well, oh, what am I trying to say? Let's use purple and pink and, oh my gosh, red. Let's use purple and red more often. Oh, friends, this is fun. Fun portrait colouring with Sarah. I like how you're turning out. Right, let's go back in and bring in the light peach. I'm just adjusting now, 3004. I'm just going in and adjusting colour here, bit of colour there, add more here, add more there. Whoa. I like these colours. I need to do this kind of colour idea in like my usual pencils. Yeah, don't really need to go over with the white. I'll just use this peach. It's this light peach. It's good enough. Does the job. Yeah, it's doing the job. It's doing the job. Oh, this is looking cool. I'm sure there's, you know, people out there that have done a lot of this before and they're like, yeah, you know, I can do that. But for me, I'm like, oh, here we go with the fantasy skin tones. Look out. With the Arrtx pencils, guys. Like I said, if you would like to see some more Arrtx colouring, more portraits maybe, or just anything, let me know in the comments. Maybe you're like, bro, I don't have the fancy pants pencils. Can you not use them all the time, please? And to that I would say, of course. snapped. I am pressing rather hard. Oh, this is so fun. I love it. All right, so that is our skin complete. She's looking a little bit lopsided in this region, but I think it's more of like a shadow thing. I'm not quite sure. I just just went over the shadows that were already there. But anyway, it is what it is. I've also had a play around with the flowers as well, and I will go through one of those with you. We'll probably do the top one. I find, if you have a look at this, I find that the pencils are working really well, especially over the top of watercolor. And I've even played around with it just a little bit down there on the edge of the flower. But yeah, these pencils are working really well on top of watercolor, and I found too that the more layers I added with the skin tones, the better it looked too. So I really feel that, yeah, the first couple of layers feel a bit rough, but the more you pile on and the more that it works on, the better they get, which is awesome. I'm so glad that the Arrtx pencils work for this kind of coloring. I'm so happy about it. So as much as there are a couple that I'm just not sure about, majority have been really good. So we're going to work on some hair now. And I've got a feeling that these pencils are going to be really good for hair, just due to the way that they were behaving with the flowers. And also just due to the way that they were behaving with the eyebrows as well. So I'm going to work on this section. I'm thinking, so over here it was just dark browns, and then I brought in some tones from the skin. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to play around with, it'll be brown with a little bit of the pinks and the purples, reds and the purples. There I go again. Okay, so the first color, I'm just going to do a light base in light peach, so AT3004. Again, you're probably not going to be able to see this. I might just do like one section here in this color, and then I might add some of these pinks in. Let's play with this is Peach Puff, so 3011. It's going to establish some where the highlight color is going to be. And this section of hair is really going to determine how I colour the rest, I think. We'll see how we go. Apologies, you're probably not going to be able to see that very well, but it is there. Just try and look for where my pencil's going. All right, let's start with, I'm going to start with that camel colour again, so 6017. And this is probably going to be one of my lightest colours, and I'm just going to drag it out. You would have seen me colour hair before. If not, I generally start from lightest and work my way to darkest. I do have some tutorials up on the channel already. If you go to my portraits playlists, you'll see some deep dives on how I colour hair. We've got galaxy hair, I do braided hair as well. So for the purposes of this video, we're just going to go with some, I'm just going to colour it and not go into too much of a technicality. But I'm basically just starting with my lightest layer and then see how I'm just dragging the colour out over, but not completely covering it. Again, another great thing about Christine Karron's books is you can just kind of follow the lines that she's drawn and work with it. So super light colors. We are working our way down to the darker colors. So yes, I would like her hair to be brown, but I'm just playing around with some lighter tones for underneath. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, your hair could be blonde. That would also be nice. I've always imagined her hair to be brown though, when every time I've seen this page. So I feel like if I don't do it, I'll get an eye twitch. We'll see how we go. It's the other reason why sometimes I don't necessarily go in with, you know, a plan set in stone, because as things develop, you can start to see the direction of the page and where things could really go color-wise and tone and stuff like that. So I tend to just, I have a plan, but I also allow enough room for experimentation. I quite like a dusty blonde as well, or an ash blonde. If you're wondering if do I have hair combinations, I don't. I make it up. Just like with the skin tones, I make it up. Oh. If you're wanting to do like a grey hair tone, say for an older person, or if you were just wanting a really washed out kind of look, then you could absolutely just leave it at that. But I'm going to go in now with another one. Now I'm going to try light umber, which is 6101. It's going to start to bring some brown out through the hair. So I'm not going to take it as far as the other two colours, but you take random strands of it further. These are, yeah, like I was suspecting, I like the way these are working. They're holding their tip pretty well, a little bit crumbly, but they're holding their point pretty well. My first few goes with hair, I use Prismacolor. They do work, you've just got to work harder to keep that point sharp. I am liking how these work. In some respects, these are behaving like an oil pencil in some ways, even though they are wax-based. So the ratio, the oil to wax ratio must be a little bit different. Because, yeah, they're not like ultra wax. I don't know if you can see, but I like the subtle shift with the pink and the yellow. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to, oh yeah, just can see that a bit too much. Yeah, these work well for hair. Again, anything that requires layering, for me personally, I feel Arrtx is good. These pencils will do well. They seem to do well when there's something to grip onto other than the paper tooth. All right, I'm going to start going with some darker browns. I do feel like I want to throw some color in there, but we'll just see. So let's go with the dark umber. It's the darkest I've got other than black in my little stash that I'm trying out here. I'm not a huge fan of the black in the set, but we'll try it because it is more of a brown black and it might actually work in our favor. So this pencil is not. No, yeah, I've got to do a few goes with it. Sometimes it's just not behaving. All right, I need to start bringing some color through, I think. I just need some like mid-tones in there. Let's try the Mars Brown 6095. And I'm saying try because, like I was saying, I'm just making this up and I experiment with a lot of my colors. I don't necessarily have a huge plan all the time. And if I can encourage you to try different things, then that's good. So a good example of different colors you could try peaches and browns, peaches and dusty pinks, browns and pinks, browns and oranges. Try all those together. I'm not going to add too much of this, but I like the tone that it gives. All right, let's go to dark salmon, which is 6078. And this is really, so you'll probably be thinking, I've seen these colors before. I'm bringing in a lot of the skin tone colors into the hair. I really want to bring in some purples and the red. And I'll use the two that I used on the skin, I reckon. And I'll just layer up with those. This is what I'm thinking. I'll layer with those and then we can add more brown on top. So like I was saying before, even with your skin tones, just grab your regular combination and just start throwing in random colors in your darker section. So because I've got purple and pink and red everywhere else, I've put it here. You could try it with blue. All right, this is that aubergine purple, 4333. Let's just give it a crack. Because I feel like this purple and that brown are going to go really well together. In terms of like they're both just going to darken up everything. I think the reason why I want to do the purples and the pinks and the reds and stuff like that is because it's almost like she's got this like aura and this random light that's like making her look really purple. And I kind of think, well, we should have the same thing for the hair because, you know, it's on her head as well. Let's try the Perylene Violet. 33300. Yeah, so I kind of want it to look like there's just this like one random light source that's just giving her this huge glow. And it's not just on the skin. So sometimes if you want to have, you know, like a pinky purpley, like a warm tone on the skin, then try and apply it to the hair. See if you like it. I don't think there's any rules. I don't think there's one way you should do things. I think it's more about what you like. Oop, I slipped there with that. That's all right. We'll fix that. Okay. I'm going to go back in with more brown. Light umber. 6101. Brush that off. These are a little bit crumbly when for this technique, but I find it's not like big crumbles. It's little crumbles. And we can just bring this out further beyond what we've done. Just trying to cover up that mistake. That's all right. I'm liking this. I'm liking it. That'll probably be it for like the purples and the pinky red colors, but I'll more build up the brown. Now, let's just go back in with that light peach, the 3004. I'm just going to do a bit of that. Color that in. And let me just test the other side with the pink, which is the peach puff, 3011. I'm just lightly going over that highlight area. It looks the same, really. Yeah, it looks the same, doesn't it? You can't really tell. Oh well, whatever. All right, dark umber again, 6201. Chuck a bit of that in there. Try and hide that error. I feel like I'm making it worse. Oh well. If you wanted to do highlights over the top of this, you could grab an X-Acto knife and just do some flicks, and you're just going to scrape the first layer of the paper off, like really lightly. I've seen it done. I haven't tried it yet. I could try it, but I'm wondering if it might be a bit ambitious for me at this stage. We'll see. I'm starting to get this section here. I don't know if you can see that. It's starting to look a bit crumbly because I've just got too much colour there. So I'm really happy with how this hair colour is looking. Looking forward to how the rest is going to look. Just filling in some of these gaps. I don't know if I'm going to use the black yet. Won't add it in. I'll just keep it out for now. Okay, so funny. So there's that hair color, and you could look at it and go, oh yeah, that's brownish with a bit of color in it. All of these. All of these colors I've used, so super fun. See how we've got brown, I've got some pinky brown, some neutrals, a bright red, some lighter colors. I've got a full mix of things. So I'm happy so far with how that hair is turning out. I feel like these pencils are holding up well for this technique. Now we're going to go and do a flower. So I did just do a light layer of the Peach Puff, which is that 3011. And I'm going to start going in just with some darker colors. I really, as much as I don't like how this peach lays down, the 3010, I'm going to use it just to add a bit of warmth. I like the way that it looks. Maybe I added this already. I don't know. Just colouring certain sections, just building up some layers. As much as it might not be noticeable on camera. I've been thinking about what to do for the pearls. And everything else. I'm kind of thinking originally I was just going to go metallic watercolor paint. However, I feel because there are so many pearls, they're in her hair, they're around her neck, around her shoulders, it's going to look too much and it's just going to look like this glob that's like sitting on her. It's not going to look like it's part of the picture, in my opinion. I'm probably going to save my metallic for this like filigree, if you will, down the bottom. I'm thinking of like a port wine color or a gold. And then around the edges here, I'm thinking like port wine or gold or silver. And then I'll probably do some glitter for these little subtle dots she's got here. And some there too, and she's got some down her shoulder. So thinking of that, I'm really weighing up. Oh, and also I'll just add some for the chain links here. I'll probably gold or silver. I'm really weighing up. In my personal opinion, I can see both gold and silver evenly. I'm really not going to know until her whole hair is done, to be honest. But the pearls I do want to do in pencil. So we'll do some of those. And which is good. And I'm actually just going to put a clear gloss over the top. I've got some like glossy accent colors, which will look really nice. That way I can keep the shading of the pearls. And they're definitely going to have some pink in them. I'm just wondering what other color they could have. Maybe like a muted something, like yeah, I don't know if it's going to be too pink though. So I'm going to have a bit of a research as to what type of pearls you can get out there and see if I can drop some color in there. But yeah. I think sometimes I've certainly done a statement necklace in metallic colors and it looks nice, but I think it gets to a point where if the necklace is too big, it's just going to look weird. Just for my taste anyway. Everyone's taste is different. You could almost too, with these lilies, once I've coloured it, we could almost go over it with some white gel pen just on the outside to white out some black lines. Okay. Another color that I was playing around with and loving for this was the Mayan Violet. So 4122. And I'm just going to bring out some color. See, it's this really deep, rich color. This is one that I ticked. Yes, this was a color that I ticked in my little do I like this pencil swatch that I was doing. And even for the lily centers, we could go gold. I could do silver too. Like they don't have to be, yeah, they don't have to be gold at all. But I feel like it would look nice. Decisions. I'm just flicking the color out here. Yeah, I'm just doing a mix of flicking the color out and just coloring it like this, like scumbling, because I like the texture. See how I've got the texture down the bottom, how it's like flicked? Yeah, trying to go for that. Good news. The great thing is that these pencils go well over this watercolor, which is awesome. So I think watercolor is, it already is a, watercolor pencil is already a staple with most of my coloring pages, an absolute staple. And I feel like I'm going to add watercolor paint into the mix. So look out. As you know, I use watercolor metallic a lot for embellishments, but adding watercolor paint as a staple, even better, because we can just get these like cool painterly techniques that like we wouldn't otherwise get. It's just fun as well. Not only do I think it looks good and you don't have to do as many pencil layers, but it's just fun. So if your paper can take it, do it. And it's just so fun to add a variance of color in these as well. Oh, I really like that hair. I'm just laughing because the one time I put color in my hair that wasn't blonde, that was like an actual, you know, like not a natural hair color, at the hairdressers, of course, was, I did a little bit like that and it looked cool, but it washes out pretty quick. So unless you go to absolute ham on the toners. Just flicking at it again. Yeah. The Arrtx work well for florals and portraits, which I'm really glad. I'm really glad. I have had to adapt, yeah, like in saying that, a bit scratchy here. So I have had to adapt a few things, but that's fine. So if you would like to see some more tutorials or color alongs, whether silent or chatty, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there's a book that you like to use your Arrtx pencils in as well, like what paper you like. This paper works well. But honestly, Christine Karron's books, I could really just color for the rest of my life. I just love them so much. Okay. Let's add in dark purple, which is 4299. This is another one that I was really enjoying. And I got the dark purple here because we've got it in the background. So I'm just going to add it in the middle. For me, Christine Karron's illustrations, these are the type that I could color for 6 hours straight and I wouldn't even know that the time's going. I would just sit there and enjoy myself in my own little world. I could just switch off. I love how much you can just play with stuff, just try different things. I should probably color that center. You could leave it white, but let's do a bit of something. Yeah, for a pencil set that is $70 Australian, I tip my hat. There are a lot of pencils that you would pay more for and you don't get, yeah, you don't get what you get. Even though I was playing around with some pencil work at the bottom there, I feel like it doesn't need it. The background, the watercolor paint's just done wonders. So maybe I'll try and add a few bits just so it kind of looks a bit coherent, because like you can see it. If I just leave it there, it's going to be like, what is that? So I might add some things. Maybe just so that doesn't look random. But yeah, I could just leave the watercolor there. I want to play around more with watercolor backgrounds. It's just so quick and easy to do. And you could just grab any old set from anywhere if you haven't done it before and just have a play around. I since doing my little test, realized that, yeah, I've got a lot to learn when it comes to watercolor paint, but that's fine. You got to start somewhere. You're never just going to know how to do something, are you? Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, these just work well with layering. I find it, for me, a straight blend and burnish with these, probably not. I don't feel like they're suited to that, but that is just me. That could just be like how I color. Let's add a little bit of shadow in. I want to add more of the orangey tone, so I'm going to go for that peach, which is 3010. And I'm just going to go over some of the areas that I've done. Oh, unfortunately, this is a color that I don't like, as in, like, I don't like the pencil. I like the color, but the pencil is just hard to work with. But you win some, you lose some. But yeah, my feedback would be if Arrtx could please fix that white, because you've got a really good opportunity to nail your white. Yeah, if you could just re-look at it, that'd be awesome. I don't know, I'm such a tiny little channel. I don't know if my opinion's warranted, but I've got to press fairly hard with this to get it to... I've got some scratch lines coming up, but I think because of the style of flower, it's actually pretty hidden. It's not really noticeable. Not at all, not at all. Okay, there is another flower done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, home stretch. So I've just completed these flowers and finished the hair. Mostly was good. Again, it's just, I don't know if you can see here, some scratches. So sometimes if the pigment's just weird, so one of the other culprits being this peach color, it creates scratches. So this is one of the colors that I didn't like it, but it was a color that I wanted to use, so just had to really go with it. Yeah, just a little bit scratchy, but again, just with the style of the picture overall, it's not really an issue, so we're just going to roll with it. Now what is left to do is a bit of the greenery, which includes the stems and the pearls. So I'll do some greenery first. So I'm going to go with chromium oxide green to start with, so it's 5419, and I'm going to do it on the leaves and some of the stems. See how we go. But again, yeah, just like I was saying before, works really nicely over the watercolor, like grabs it. This is a nice green. Did I tick this? No, I didn't. I think when I swatched it, I was like, yep, it's good, but nothing noteworthy. But as I'm laying it down, it's really good. It's nice. Really just playing with some shadows here. Really just colouring one side. I could make all of this green, but I don't want to. That'll obviously be green, but the rest, yeah, I kind of want to do, I think yeah, like a bit of a wine colour, or a bit of a port wine. Shading in there. Just being a bit rough with it, like not really intentionally, but I feel because I've already got colour there, I don't need to be this like hyper super precision with it. I really don't need too much of this because I want the main colour to be like, I've got a bit of a lime peel looking green and there's a ginger root in there too, which is interesting. I can't tell where the stems start and where the petals stop, so I'll just colour it. And we'll see where we end up. All right, lime peel, which is 5088. And I'm just going to go over. This is kind of like the main color that I want to have. Again, I really can't tell where these colors are. The more I'm coloring with the green, the more I feel like I want silver. I think one of the reasons being is because I like with pearls. I like the look of pearls with silver. I tend to, it's the same with diamonds. I like the look of diamonds with white gold opposed to yellow gold. I think just because they're like similar in color. And I'm just looking at the temperature of everything. I know it's quite warm, but I feel silver with pink pearls might look good. I still haven't decided. I mean, you'll know which one I go with, obviously, because you would have seen the thumbnail, but yeah, I don't know. But this just goes to show, like, sometimes, again, you don't actually know what you're going to do until you get to it, which sometimes can be a bit nerve-wracking. This pencil's also good. It's not as pigmented as that other green. It's got warm and cool colors, so I feel like you could go either way. All right, the ginger root, 5079. There you go. Sometimes it won't focus because it sees her face and it's like wanting me to focus on that. A bit of that. I like ginger root as a colour. It's very nice pastel-y green. It's got some lovely tones. Some lovely tones. Okay, for the pearls, I'm going to go with pink, pinky grey. So the first, I'll chuck the pink down first. Let's do these ones down here because they're bigger. So let's go with the Peach Puff, 3011. Again, face, 3011. And I'm just going to do like one side. Let's see how these go. I'm trying to make these similar to what's already on there, but not so similar that you just can't, they don't stand out at all, which is probably half the reason why I'm going to put a gloss over them. Methinks. I'll do those. The next color I'm going to add is, this is the Bavarian Cream. This is 6011. And I'm just going to play around with like doing the other side and bringing it in over the pink. Probably not going to notice it that much on camera. These are almost too tiny to get some good detail in, so I'm just gonna try and colour what I can, keep the highlight up the top. That's what I've done. And then just to go over a bit of the shadow there, let's try this 20% warm grey, which is 7030. Just gonna pop a bit of that over. It really doesn't make too much of a difference. I'm just trying to blend it in a little bit. I feel like I'm gonna need a darker colour Just so when I put the gloss over it, stuff still comes through. What have we got in the way of brownie pinks that we haven't used yet? Let's try this. I don't know how to say this. I'm going to butcher this. Quinacridone something credone violet. It's like quinacridone. Quinacridone. Yeah. Number 4280. It's gonna maybe just put a bit of this. I know, like we're starting to look really similar. I'm at a loss. They're going to have to be non-greyish based pearls. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking silver. Oh, haven't done those yet. Oh well. Sometimes I just go over things. I just go over colours if I'm like, nah, don't like it, go over it. All right, we'll keep that. Let me try. I'm just going to go over with just my white pencil down the bottom and see if that brings out anything interesting. Yeah, look, that'll do. It looks iridescent enough. I could outline them in the white gel pen, but I feel like just because there's so many, especially around the neck, I'm going to lose a whole lot of definition if I do that. I feel I don't have those skills. So we're going with these. I will put gloss on them. So, okay, so this is it for the pencil work, really. And if you're after a comparison, so one of the colors that I have used the most is the light peach. And if we just look for a comparison as to how much I've used, it has chewed through it quite a bit. So if you haven't used these and you're wondering how quickly they wear down, they do wear down a bit quicker because they are wax. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't know if Arrtx stock opens stock. I don't know if they do, but I think you could always just buy a couple of sets because they're a reasonable price anyway, if you feel like it. But yeah, so bit of wear down. But that's probably going to happen with portraits anyway if you're using wax base, I would say. Okay, embellishments added, paint applied. This page is complete. Took a while, actually. Let me show you. It's still really wet, but with the pearls, it's just added a bit of shine, a bit of a raised effect. I don't know if you can, yeah, you kind of see how that's a bit raised. That'll dry and go nicely. That applied really well. So I'm really happy with that. I've gone with the silver actually, just around the border, around her eyes, on her neck. Like a bit of a glittery tattoo. Can you see what I mean? If I'd gone with the silver on the pearls, it would have just looked too much. So yeah, that's just the right amount. And then a nice wine color for the around the border, which was fun. It's like a little bit of metallic. So that is that page for the pencil side. And then our completed page for the Hanna Karlzon jewelry box page. How fun. Now that this is dried, you can see more of that glitter. That is crazy. Crazy glittery. Crazy shimmer. Pearlescent. I love it. Both these pages, I feel like I've really just let my inner 4-year-old out, and I am not mad about it. I'm so happy. So if you are interested in either the watercolor paint set, which was linked in my last video, you can go and check that out. If you are interested in the Arrtx pencils or you feel like a bit of a stock up, you can head to the links below. But the verdict is both of these products for me work well for what I set out to achieve with my coloring. Both of these styles, so I've got something a little bit more crazy and something a little bit more formal. Both of these styles you'll kind of see up on my channel and on my Instagram page. Feel free to follow me if you like. So like I said, please let me know if you would like to see more tutorials and more color alongs featuring the Arrtx pencils. Apart from a few little bits and pieces that we did discuss, all round I find they're great to work with for portraits and for whimsical coloring. So with that being said, I'm going to clean up the huge mess that I have created, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.